Hi Tommy, very nice to see you back again. Yeah, it's going to be a new start, but we see for long. Mainly going to talk about my long day off. A little bit about StreamFEST and of course IBC, and I'll show a few things about triggers and shortcuts that I solved for a few people. Yeah, it's been a rather busy period. Not only with StreamFEST, but my other projects with the data sources for the external the company here in Belgium. It went berserk because they showed it to another company, and now I've been asked to do this for a lot of other companies. So I'm struggling a little bit with to find my place in the live streaming world. But hey, we'll see where it brings us. Hello, Mr. Steed. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, the start of the show, I'm probably not going to be able to move a lot, but let me quickly show you this nice thing that was delivered last Friday. So this is the brand new vMix t-shirt, the one and only. So yeah, great to have this t-shirt and a few other things, but more about that later in the show. What you're seeing now is just well, kind of, it's something I made in Photoshop. So you could find some stuff for free on the IBC website, but I decided to create my own. So this was quickly done in vMix, and it's going to be very interesting a little bit later in the show when I show you where vMix is. We're really in the middle of nowhere, and yeah. Palace number 8 that's going to be a a crazy one with X keys, Carhoy, and PTZ optics next to each other. We have Burdock next to us, and in front of us is this Russian guy with his OCR thing for score overlay. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that in the show. Just to check how is my audio today, tried a different setup. It's my so-called radio mic, a little bit out of sight. Levels should be okay. If you guys just could let me know if the audio is okay, the level. So I see that Tommy has his American mousepad. So the mousepad that's only for the American guys and girls. I hope probably they have special mousepad, European style. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. It's a little bit more than a week now. Next Thursday, I'll leave for Amsterdam in the morning. probably going to, when I arrive in Amsterdam, going for my my entry badge and see if I can help the vMix guys out in setting up the boot. Normally I wasn't supposed to do it, but hey, I think it's always nice to help those guys out. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure how many people are going to watch today because, yes, it was just announced on the Facebook group and in my newsletter. We'll see if the usual suspects are here, like John and... Okay, well, what I'm using today is I'm only using my 17-inch laptop, my 2 screens, APC Mini, because I'm working on my X-Keys 24. And something new is that I'm using my iPad 2 to look for the social media. And so this is also something new. Yeah, Martin is the important people are here. That's true. Let's see, 7 minutes and a half. So there's for the moment it's rather quiet, I think, in the live streaming world. Everyone is holding their big announcements for IBC. I'm almost sure that the 4K camera from Blackmagic is going to be, yeah, again, it's already created some buzz because they just launched last week the first footage. And everyone is already, oh, guys, this is footage delivered by them. I want to see footage by, well, people who are using, clients who are using the camera. But, yeah, if it's working, it's going to be huge because price-wise, it's a very interesting camera. But I hope we have some time in, because I'm supposed to work 5 days at the vMix booth. I hope we can have 1 day off to visit all the other booths, because I am very interested in the Bertok Minis, but that's going to be easy because they're just next to us. Then I want to see the Scarhor again. Lovely piece of equipment, but so expensive. Hey, we have I think is it the first time, Amy, that you're on the show live? Very nice to see you. So still working on the yeah, what's the most interesting setup, but for the first show it's going to be again my first show, but not without audio this time. But I'm only using one PC, so my second laptop, I'm not going to use it. Didn't do that much of a preparation this time. Next week I'm going to do a show again, and then the week after I'm in Amsterdam for IBC, so probably not going to do a show, or maybe something live from Amsterdam, but as it's the last day, yeah, we're probably going to take down the booth of the vMix booth and then have some farewell dinner probably. Okay, let's prepare some stuff. I think you've seen this now. Well, I'll bring this back later. So let's bring this down. Let's prepare for my intro. Let's show the banana t-shirt again. So yay, I have my banana t-shirt. Amy, where are you from? The United Kingdom? Where are you from exactly? Oh, Maryland. Okay, I have to look up where Maryland is, somewhere in the United States. I know it from name, but not where it's situated. 3 minutes, so almost ready for the show. Let's see, audio is okay. I'm not going to mute myself this time. Triggers already, pictures already, so I think that all is good. Nothing is flashing on my APC Mini. The East Coast again. Again, it's we talked about it some time ago. It seems that all the live streamers are from the East Coast. Well, Dave is not from there, and a little bit from the middle, but from some kind of reason we don't see them, that there are not that many people from the West Coast. Look into the camera, Rudy. You have to learn to look into the camera. Still a big problem for me, looking into the camera instead of looking to my laptop screen like this. Okay, I've some notes. Well, Amy, maybe you're not aware of it, but everything I talk about is the links are going to be afterwards in the show notes. So if something goes too fast, you can always find everything back into the show notes. Okay, and my counter is counting down here, 50 seconds. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. 20. Okay. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. This show is sponsored by X-Keys, the no slogan company, but the company that knows how to push a button. Hello everyone. Very nice to see you all. I see Tommy is here, Martin is here, Amy is here. Welcome everyone. Yeah, it's been a while. So I originally planned to take off for a month, mainly for StreamFEST, but 1 month became 2 months. And well, this is the first part of the show, trying to explain why it took me 2 months to start all over again. The first reason is, and I'm going to watch the chat while I'm speaking, so I'm not going to be always directly into the camera. But the first reason I took some time off was, of course, StreamFEST Live. As you probably know, we put a lot of effort into the website and the preparations. So for those who, well, have been on other planet and didn't know what StreamFEST Live was all about, is that we had a 17 hours long live stream. We started in the UK and halfway we gave it to the United States, where Dave Edwards took over and did the rest of the show. So I'm going to show you how I went to the UK, because that was the start of the big journey. Let's see that I have the right, yep. And I'm going to put myself, well, let's see if it's working. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took the train, here you see, from Brussels South to London St. Pancras, and yeah, that was no problem. I think about 2 hours. And then from London St. Pancras I took another train. I didn't have to wait that long, I think about normally 40 minutes, but the train was delayed a little bit, so in 20 or 25 minutes I took another train to Corby. And Corby is where Martin Steed is living. So when I came off the train, Martin was there in Corby, and yeah, we had a chat at Martin's place, of course, and then Martin showed me a little bit about the Corby area, which was very interesting. Certainly the racetrack, and maybe next week I'll show you some pictures of that. And it was very nice to meet Martin in real life, of course. And you can imagine, yeah, we talked a little bit too much, and we left for Riddersley a little bit later than we were supposed to leave. So if you see the map here, let's say that we are more or less in the middle of England, and then it's a 4-hour drive to Riddersley. Now, it's for me, if I'm here in Belgium and I drive for 4 hours, I'm in Paris. I'm even further than Paris. And this is the journey that Martin is doing regularly for Madewell, later about Madewell. But this is a journey we did, a 4-hour drive, and well, it's, if you have to do it on your own and in the evening, it's not, I wouldn't do it, I think, but Martin is doing it a few times already for Madewell. And I think, Martin, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we arrived at Riddersley I think at about 11 o'clock in the evening. So we're, well, supposed to arrive at 8 o'clock, but it was 11 o'clock. And in the pub in Riddersley, we met Martin Kay, which volunteered also to help over there. It was very nice. I met Martin last year at IBC briefly, and Martin was there to help out with the cameras and stuff like that. I had prepared some pictures, but some are not of very good quality, so I keep the pictures for next week. so it was very nice in the pub. We had some drinks, and the day after, on Saturday, we started a live stream, and everything went smoothly, mainly because we used a lot data sources, and you know that's something I really like, data sources, and we created, well, in the previous weeks we created a Google Sheet, and Giles used and modified a Google Sheet with all the information about the speakers, the time they were supposed to speak, beginning time, end time, their website, and that was then used in a combination with triggers to automate when there was a speaker coming on via vMix call, or we send out all the necessary information to the speaker that wasn't seen live. And on the live you could see, for instance, now is Giles going to speak with his website, kind of a small animation with some music, and yep, that went on for 13 hours. And what we did halfway was, so we were live streaming to YouTube, and in YouTube you also have a backup stream, and halfway the live stream we told Dave, who was in the United States, okay, activate the backup stream. So Dave activated his backup stream, and we stopped the primary stream. And what happened was, it was just a small glitch, but almost, if you weren't aware what was going on, nobody saw that we stopped the primary stream and the backup stream took over, and from then on it was all up to Dave, who did a great job in live streaming it. And there was, well, the weeks after, a lot of talk about what we did. It was on Tom's show and on all the other sites. Now, I had a really wonderful time over there with Martin K, with Martin Steed, with Giles. The big disadvantage of doing it there was, I didn't see one of the other streams, because yeah, we were constantly busy doing stuff and preparing stuff, and so I had to watch all the live segments afterwards. And this is, it's nice to see it afterwards, but you're missing something. And if you haven't seen it so far, if you go to YouTube, you look, and I'm going to put the link in the show notes, but you can go to YouTube, look for StreamFEST Live, and there is a playlist. And if there is one segment I really liked, and I was so disappointed I didn't see it live, then is it this piece from Tommy. So this is the automated stuff you're seeing, Tommy, because Tommy doesn't have a website. You don't see him.
I guess we're ready now.
So this is the piece of Tommy, and what Tommy showed for the first time was what he was talking about, and he was laughing always with himself about this. Hey, I'm doing with this kind of gear, very basic gear. I'm doing some shows for the church. But if you haven't seen it, please have a look at this segment, because this is for me what live streaming is for me personally is all about. With very, very, and it's not meant to sound negative, but with very basic equipment, if you see what Tommy is doing with the small cameras, his audio setup, and how the tripods are put in in the church. It's really amazing, and I it's not because it's you, Tommy, but I'm really meaning what I'm saying. For me, this was the best piece of StreamFEST Live. It showed exactly what can be accomplished with basic equipment, and when you're 100% or even 200% motivated. So this shows yeah, what can be done with basic equipment. So this was one of the pieces of StreamFEST Live from Tommy. As told before, the links are going to be put into the description notes. And that was on Saturday, and on Sunday I came back. We drove back the 4 hours drive with Martin Steed. And what was funny was, before we left, we had a chat with Martin Kay. Said, yeah, there is a nice spot to more or less halfway to have some lunch. So wow, okay. Well, we left because I needed to have a train to London, where I stayed for 2 days. So we left, and halfway we stopped at a magnificent place with a small waterfall, and we had our late lunch. And just before we were planning to leave, who arrived there? And the place is huge. There are hundreds of people. Martin Kay. So we had a nice chat again with Martin about live streaming and everything. So I really had a great time, and then the decompression came in London because I didn't like it. It was after 2 days in Iddesleigh, in the middle of nowhere, where there were no planes, no trains, no automobiles, just bleating sheep in the morning, and then 2 days in a city like London. It was But when I came back, it was, yeah, how do I call it? Post StreamFEST depression or something like that. It was all too much. I also read some comments, and in different groups. I left some groups because this is going to be a rant. I left some live streaming groups, one because of some stuff that was putting on there live without asking for whatever. But what really annoyed me in some groups, and still in a few groups I'm following, is how blunt people are towards beginners. And sometimes it's not nice when you see someone asking the same question for the 20th or 30th time. That's also rant. People don't take the time to look up some stuff. It's, no, I want information, I want it now. But the way some of the professionals are reacting, I don't think it's the good way how we can help other people to make their first steps. And I got a very upset email from someone who said, look, I wanted to start. He was watching SOLS without coming live. And he said, I asked some question, not in the SOLS group, but in some other groups. And he copy pasted some comments to me. And it was awful how he was treated by some of the professionals. And that made me thinking, is this the way, am I going to be also like that? So it's, I wasn't even sure if I was going to continue with the school of live streaming. And I'm still struggling, but for the moment it can change. Is that I'm going to continue. No, it's maybe not going to be a weekly show, and I'm going to announce it in my newsletter, and I'm also going to announce it on my Facebook page. If there's no content, I'm not going to do a show. And I'm waiting for Black Monday or Black Friday, how is it called again? Because I want to buy a software, and probably then it's going to be half a price, so I can do my pre-recorded segments. So I've already a lot prepared, but I need to make it professional, like I want it to be. And I know some people are saying, yeah, I cannot do really a show without any preparation. I like to prepare most of the things, and sometimes if I see a comment, it's not because it's I want this. These are my points. If I see a very interesting comment, then I can interact with you guys. But I like to prepare my stuff, and this is something I'm going to work the next coming weeks. And probably the show is going to be. It's going to stay more or less at the beginners or a little bit advanced level. And what I'm going to do is, because I see that a lot of people, there are so many groups, and not everyone is on Facebook, and people are sometimes missing some great information. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to the vMix forum and a few other groups, and if I see interesting comments and interesting answers, I'm going to show it on my show. So just to give you an example, is today in the vMix user group and training, someone was asking this question. I'll rephrase it a little bit. So I have a text input with 33 different texts, and now what I do is I right click and I go to the next title. Is there a way to do this with a shortcut? And what I did was I noted here how we had to do it. So let me and I'll try to show it here. So if what I did to show it is and I have to show, and this is why I probably should have used my second laptop, because now you have the infinity effect again. So this is the ticker. So what this guy is doing is he right clicks and then he takes the name, for instance here up. I showed you the wrong one, so this is the one I have to show. So he right clicks here and he chooses the name. So the way to automate that is you create, of course, your title, and then here you can create some shortcuts. So what I did was I created 2 shortcuts, and I used my keyboard. The first shortcut is I choose the letter N for the next title and the P for the previous title. So how can you automate these titles? So let me click edit. So here you choose whatever key or control on your MIDI device you want. I chose the letter N on my keyboard, and the function I choose was next title preset, and as the input I chose my lower third. So shortcut N, next title preset, and my lower third. And the same for if you want to go a step back, I created the P with the function previous title preset, and again the same lower third. So if I put up now, here you see here my lower third. If I say if I put the letter N next, then you see Martin Steed, United Kingdom. When I put again the letter N, you see it's Elmar Lam, Germany. If I put the letter P again, oh, I want to go back, Martin Steed, Rudy Engels. So with P and N, you can automate your titles. The big disadvantage in doing it this way is, of course, you have to know the order of your titles, because I'm just clicking here now on N, but who's the next person who is coming? So you have to know a sheet of paper or something else which title you want. But it was with lower title. I'm normally doing it with data sources, but this is one way to automate it. So I'm going to put a link to the function also in the show notes. So this is something I'm planning to do more and more. So showing small pieces how to do. Another question I got was in the vMix forum, I think. Yeah. Someone asked this question. So I tried to set the duration on a ticker to 3 minutes in the overlay setting, and it got an error. What I want is the ticker text to scroll, and after 3 minutes I want it to disappear from the output windows. What am I doing wrong? So the problem, he had two problems. The first problem is that the maximum duration of an overlay is 10 seconds, 10,000 milliseconds. That's the maximum duration. So you can't use an overlay for and say, yeah, it has to stay up for for 3 minutes. So what was my solution? And as you probably know, in vMix a lot of stuff can be done in different ways. So what you have to do is, step 1 is create your ticker. Step 2 is create a timer input with your necessary duration. So let me maybe, instead of doing it this way, let me show you what you have to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. So step number 1 is create a ticker. So I've created here a ticker, for instance, the ticker I was using in the pre-show. So this is step number 1. Step number 2 is create a timer input with your necessary duration. So if I say I create another input and I say here title, timer, it doesn't matter what kind of time, I'm just using this timer. And then here, so with the necessary duration, let's say that he wants 3 minutes. So this is, or you can put it here, or I can say here, okay, I want 0 hours, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and let's say, well, no, let's say 0 hours, 3 minutes, 0 seconds. So this is now a ticker with that duration. Yeah. Step 3 is on your ticker input. So here the ticker that you want to show is to create a trigger. So if I click here on the cog icon, then on trigger, what I'm going to say here is on overlay in, Yeah. Start countdown. That's here. Start countdown. And what do you need to start? Of course, you need to start here the right input. My ticker. Yeah, ticker HD. So what I'm saying here, the moment I put my ticker as an overlay, start the countdown. That's what this step is saying. So this is okay. And then what I'm saying here is on your timer input. So the timer I created here with my 30 seconds. Here I create another trigger where I'm saying on countdown completed. And let's say that I'm using my ticker as overlay number 2. That's something you have to choose yourself. Then you can say on countdown completed, overlay input, let's say that we're going to put it overlay input 2 off. So what I did was I created my ticker, and step number 2 was I created the timer input with a duration of 30 seconds. And then I created 2 triggers. On the ticker input, I'm saying the moment the ticker is coming in as an overlay, start the countdown. And on the timer, I'm saying, okay, the moment the countdown is completed, do the overlay of. So now I'm saying here add, and I'm quickly going to check because I'm using existing inputs if I've done everything correct. Yeah, so this is something you have to be very careful. What I did was I forgot here to say add, so I just clicked here the X, so my trigger isn't done. So I'm on my ticker, so on ticker is on overlay in, start countdown, start countdown. What's of course the timer. And now don't forget to click add. Now it's here in the trigger. So in theory, and probably it's going to because there's something wrong with my inputs, normally then when you bring in my ticker on overlay number 2, it's let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, this because I'm using it for another. It's going to start the timer, and it's after half a minute the overlay is going to disappear. But this is exactly why I want to use some pre-recorded stuff, that it's a small segment, and so you can see what exactly is happening. I see here that Tommy needs this for the church service. I'll try to do a recording, Tommy, and I'll put it on unlisted so you can watch it with all the steps, and then you can see exactly what you need to do. Amy saying, I was happy when the countdown completion trigger was finally added. Yes, and it's not something I knew from vMix. If they tell me to not to say anything, I'm not going to say anything, but this is just something I think that's maybe going to happen, is that there are going to be some extra triggers. A lot of people have asked for extra triggers to automate more stuff, like doing kind of a automated show that you can say, for instance, at 8 o'clock I want that segment to start, at 8:15 I want that to start. So I think, but it's really, maybe it's not true what I'm telling here, that triggers like those are going to come in the next version of vMix 22. Amy is also saying, let me maybe put up some, let me try if the iPad is working. Let me see here, send, and if I see then here I want this one as overlay number 3. So Amy is saying, this is very helpful to share Q&A. You're coming across on your show there are multiple ways to accomplish things in vMix, and that's true. And this is all, it's again a rant, but sometimes people who are giving it, like me, I give you a solution, maybe it's not the best one, and then you were hearing other people saying, oh, this is not a good way, there are other ways. Yeah, there are thousands of ways, but who cares? If this is working for you, who am I to tell you that this is a wrong way? So these are 2 tips I want to give you this week, I found. So the next thing I want to talk a little bit is about IBC. For American friends who don't know IBC, it's the European NEB. I've never been to NEB, but apparently those who have been to both places said that they're comparable. Also in size, probably NEB is a little bit bigger, but all the big companies are there. And last year I went to Amsterdam for, well, it was for work, 2 days. And I said, of course, I'm going to say hi to the vMix guys. That's the first day I said hi, talked to Martin and Tim, a little bit longer than I expected. Did the rest of the show, second day again, and I saw there were some, well, a lot of people waiting, queuing in the vMix booth. And out of the blue, someone asked me a question about vMix, and I was, and Tim said, yeah, go ahead. And well, I stayed the whole day at the vMix booth, explaining a little bit what I knew, because I was really beginner and then, and explaining, yeah, some stuff. At a certain moment, Tim asked me how many languages did you speak? I said 4 today. So it was people coming over and talking, speaking in English, in French, in Dutch, a little bit German. That was really funny. And a few months ago, suddenly I got an email from vMix if I was interested to help them out. I said, yeah, no problem. Yeah, but for the whole 5 days. I said, oh, okay. But yeah, you can imagine I didn't have to think too long. And next week, Thursday, I'm leaving to Amsterdam. To help out vMix. And for those who are coming to Amsterdam, we are at Hall 6, stand C13. And I'm going to show you the floor plan. You're probably going to love. It's the same place as last year. Let me show you. So if I show you, this is IBC. So there are 14 holes for 15. You need, I think, if you want to see everything, you need 3 days. Because not only seeing, but talking with some people. These are the big holes, and you see here a very small hole, hole 6. This is, of course, where we are. So people are coming here to here or here, and then they have to go and then maybe they can find us. So, and you see here we are in booth 6C13, and who's next to us, the crazy Australians of Burdock. And I can tell you, it's always fun when those guys are next to you. So this is good that those guys are next to us. For the rest, well, other companies, I think not really too interesting. Well, not for me. Well, everyone has other interests, of course. And I think one of the most interesting booths are is also hole 8. If you go here, hole 8, I'm going to show you hole 8, because in hole 8, if I zoom in, who is in hole 8? In hole 8, I have my sponsor here, X-Keys. So Dan Slider is going also to Amsterdam. I'm really looking forward to have a chat with Dan Slider. And next to Dan is Scarhoy. So the two big guys of USB things are next to each other, X-Keys and Scarhoy. PTZ Optics is also in this booth here, just in front of X-Keys. So you have, well, in the almost the same spot, X-Keys, PTZ Optics and Scarhoy. And then you have, of course, all the other big guys, the Black Magics and all the other ones. But it's going to be a really interesting show. And yeah, this is where I'm going to be for 1 week. But really looking forward to have a chat with Dan Slider. And because when I'm saying the name of Dan Slider, that reminds me, Dan is really a good guy. When he can help other people out, he does it. And he's not only a salesman. And that brings me back to StreamFEST Live, because something I really want to show you is when we drove back from Iddesleigh, Martin wanted to show me Madewell. So for those who don't know what Madewell is all about, young people with learning disabilities who are doing a really great job. And I don't know if you all saw the segments they did with Martin during StreamFEST Live, but when Tim from vMix came live and they saw that someone from Australia said hi to them live, they went through the roof. And it was so amazing. And this is at the same time where I was a little bit disappointed, because one thing we said was we're going to look for some big sponsors, and a lot of people were sponsoring. Dan Slider was sponsoring, Thomas was sponsoring, I was sponsoring, Elmar was sponsoring, but we didn't got the sponsoring I thought we were going to get, and so we could give more money to those guys at Madewell, because what we're planning to do is help those people set up their own TV studio, so they can have contacts with their counterparts in Australia, in the United States. Martin and maybe I from a distance, we're going to teach them how to use vMix, how to use a camera, a microphone, and stuff like that. And then they're going to produce their own show. So that's our main objective. For that, we need a laptop. We need audio gear. There is already some audio gear that's sponsored. X-Keys has sponsored an X-Keys. That was what I was telling you about Dan Slider, because he really wants to help those people out. vMix is going to sponsor a license. Some other people are also already sponsoring. And what I'm going to show you, I took a few pictures, but it's because it was on Sunday, so it was their closing day. But it shows you a little bit. Let me go back. Let me start all over again. So it's really a very nice place. This is the reception area where you can drink something. And here is, is it even possible? The fruit and the vegetables are there. You take what you want and you put something into a box. Yeah. To be honest, if we're doing this here in Belgium, the fruit and the vegetables are gone and no one is putting something into the box. This was really nice to see. And this is a small view of the garden. So they're growing their own vegetables, and locals are helping those young people how to grow their vegetables, and that's being sold, and with that money they can buy other stuff again. So really lovely. There is you see it's a big garden, and you have to rewatch the segment about Madewell again, because it shows it really shows how big it is. And the last picture I have is, this is the reception area. So touch me, smell me, taste me. And I have to watch apple, mint, curry plant, sage, tarragon, lavender, rosemary, oregano, verbena, parsley, thyme. So it's really incredible. And this is something I'm going to focus together with Martin Steed. So our main objective is that those people can have their own studio. Basic. Of course, you need a decent laptop and a decent camera. And we hope that at a certain moment, that's our dream, that we can tell you, okay, Madewell is going live now, and you're going to see people with learning disabilities producing a live show. And to be honest, this is what's keeping me going on for the moment. I want to use, and even misuse, if that's a correct name, the School of Live Streaming to promote stuff like this. And maybe sometimes bring a few people in, people who have an interesting topic to talk about, how we can bring other people in, like what Tommy is doing with the church, what Martin Steed is doing with Madewell. Maybe, Amy, you have also a project that you say, it could be very interesting that those people can be live. It can be someone with a disease who can't come out but can use live streaming to get social contacts. And if we as a community can help with that, yeah, this is what I think I'm going to use or misuse the School of Live Streaming for. So it was a little bit hands and forth between StreamFEST Live, but it was because I was thinking on the very social Dan Slider that Madewell came into my mind, and I wouldn't forget Madewell. So just have a look. I think I have more or less said what I wanted to say. I'm just going briefly to, briefly not, I'm going now a little bit through the comments because I was just talking and talking and talking. So Tommy is suggesting, sorry, to bring Amy. Yeah, Amy, in the first shows I had, Tommy was one of my guests, Martin was of my guests. I brought in Dan Slider. And to be honest, those, I found the shows with when I had a guest, my best shows. I really liked the interaction. So without pushing, because I know that not everyone likes it, Amy, if you're interested just in telling who you are, where you're from, maybe for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just give a shout out and we set up a vMix call and I'll bring you in and we can talk about who you are and what you're doing. And it doesn't have to be about live streaming. If you doesn't like it, no problem. Hi, Flew by Dust41. Sorry, I haven't seen you earlier in the chat. Maybe, what he's saying, maybe vMix could add a smell of vision option. You're going to laugh, but I remember that a few years ago, when the first USB devices came out, how it's in English, fragrance, that's the smell. Those fragrance companies had some kind of a USB keyboard, and when you were pushing, for instance, oh, I want to smell that, there came some smell out of the keyboard. But I think it's if you have too many fragrances, it's going to be your room is going to be it's going to be smell also. Let me see here. Yeah, giving back is so rewarding. That's exactly. Martin is saying Madewell is a fantastic group of people running. Yeah, Madewell, unsung heroes. That's exactly. Oh, Martin is saying, sorry Martin, all ages at Madewell, so not only young people, so people from all ages. Thanks for correcting that. Oh yeah, I have still something new. Well, last week it was a big thing here in Belgium that our commercial station, so we have more station, but for the sake of simplicity, let's say that we have a national station and we have a commercial station. And the commercial station was said, this is new, no one in the world is using it. So the journalist can do, is not always doing this, but can make his own news. And it was funny hear them talk about it because it was big, and I think, but isn't this what we are already doing, or some of us doing? So but they can, okay, it's on a higher level, of course, but all the sources from all the news agencies are coming into the news studio. So he's seeing all these sources, comparisons to us. We're seeing all the NDI sources. And he can then decide, oh, I want something from NBC, or I want a piece from BBC, or I want a radio interview, or I want that. So he can do the switching. So what they're going to do is the director, or how is it called in English? Maybe they're going to say, okay, we don't need it. It's going to be the presenter who is going to do the switching and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's Ken Benedict for the best I can. So they were, okay, this is the presenter is doing the switching. This is exactly what I think we are doing. They are, of course, doing it on a much higher level and I think a lot more stress. But what's also interesting is what they can do. And this is what a lot of people are hoping that is going to come into vMix is with one push of a button, you can send a segment to Facebook or YouTube. There is on the vMix forum, in the feature request, if you're interested that's going to come to vMix, give it a +1. It probably is going to be in combination with instant replay. Let's say that I just had a chat with Amy and say, this is really really interesting. I want to put this segment immediately on, let's say, Twitter and my Facebook group. So one push of a button, and it creates a short segment with a hashtag or whatever, and it's automatically put on social media. So this is what the commercial station is doing, and it's in the same it's more or less in the same studio. So you're seeing that the two worlds are converging. The professional world, they're seeing what's happening on the live streaming world, like the vMix and the Blackmagic and all the other products. They are seeing, and I'm not talking about myself, but they're seeing that a lot of people are doing great shows with interactivity, bringing in guests, well, what we did with vMix Call. And yeah, it's really interesting what's going to happen in the next coming weeks and months in the live streaming world. And talking about this and social media, sorry, because I told you in the beginning of the show that I hadn't prepared too well today. Something is going to happen with vMix Social, and it's not vMix fault. A lot of people are complaining about it. As you know, Facebook is constantly changing the API. A lot of people have problems streaming, but also Instagram. Instagram is completely closing down their API. At the moment, you're not able to bring in pictures from Instagram. So Martin Sinclair from vMix said that from the 1st of January of early 2019, Instagram is going to get out of vMix Social, because they're not going to allow other companies to make use of it, or it's going to take so much time for vMix to rewrite every time everything. And let's hope that not the same is going to happen with Facebook. I know that Martin has already rewritten a few times the integration with the API of Facebook. And talking about Facebook, and then I'm going to end, I saw some questions, people saying, I can't choose my group or page in Facebook when they want to stream. And the problem there is, and I wonder what those people are doing, but some people apparently have 20 or 30 or 40 groups and pages where they stream to. And there is a maximum in vMix. I don't know how much exactly, maybe 20. So if you're an administrator for more than 20 groups or pages, it only shows you those 20 groups. So you have to clean up all the groups you want to stream to, and then you can say, I want to stream to that group or that group. So that was, again, vMix Social, the integration. So this was it more or less for today. I thought I was going to, that Martin is probably going to laugh, that I was going to talk for 20 minutes or so. It's again almost an hour. I'll stay a little bit live and go to the chat and see if there's any questions. I already want to thank everyone for being on the show again, because I was a little bit afraid that there was nobody going to watch, because yeah, I stopped for 2 months, and I see here that 5 people watch the show, I see here in the chat, Saint Martin is asking, send me a link, please. Why is that for Martin? The link? Is that from something I missed into the chat? Okay, Ken is saying been streaming on vMix for 2 years. Okay. Ah yeah, this is this about. Yeah, Amy, and I'm going to see here. Send. Okay, and let me put this one here and number 4 so we can see what's happening. Nope, wrong overlay. So Amy is saying clips on the fly from vMix sounds cool. Yeah, I'm thinking the last few days I'm thinking about this, and because it was a feature request in the beginning I was like, oh, what's the point? But yeah, a lot of people who are using instant replay want to say, oh, okay, it's being used a lot in sports. You say, oh, there is a goal. You see it often, then there is a goal, and immediately on Facebook or on Twitter you're seeing the goal. But it can be a funny moment also in during your live stream, of course. You say, oh, this was funny. You click on a button that creates a 30-second clip back from instant replay or whatever. But it's going to be interesting how, if it's going to be implemented and how it's going to be implemented, of course. Because yeah, we think it's easy, but it's not always easy. Well, if you see Martin doing his stuff on with vMix, then you think it's easy. The craziest thing I saw was on a show, someone said to Martin, hey, it would be very nice if he could that, and Martin disappeared, took his laptop. A few minutes later, is this what you're meaning about? Crazy that you have people with all this knowledge. Martin is saying, great to have you back. Yeah, great to have you back, guys. As always, if you have any comments about what you want to see, put it here or put it on my oh yes, and of course I forgot something as usual. That's the age. When you have passed the 50s, you forget stuff. You know, the last shows I did, I was always, oh, I want my 100 subscribers. And it was difficult because I wanted 100 real subscribers, and I didn't want to brag all my friends, oh, please subscribe, please subscribe. And 2 days, I think it was 2 days after my last show, I got finally my 100 subscribers. Not that it's that important, but it was important for me. So if you go now to YouTube, and you go to www.youtube.com/School of Live Streaming, you arrive at my channel. If you go to www.schooloflivestreaming/live, you arrive immediately at my live page. So this is CEO-wise, it's very interesting that you have your 100 subscribers. Now I have my decent URL, and now I don't care how many subscribers extra. I think I'm now at 125 or so. Tommy did a great job always asking people, please subscribe. And it was well, I have to say, let's be honest, it was really nice when I got an email, hey, you have 100 subscribers. Now you're eligible to your proper URL. But sometimes if I see those people with 1,000 and 10,000 subscribers, I say, how on earth are they doing it? They're not talking about live streaming, of course. I'm not going to show Amy's age live. Let's say that we are more or less at the same age. Martin is saying here, okay, let's put this up. I've been making bogus accounts for weeks. Yeah, glad you have hit 100 now. I can stop. Um, we're not going to talk about Tommy's age either, but Tommy's always saying that he's old, but he's the young guy in our group. Okay, we'll see if I can find Ken's YouTube page. So I'm more than happy to put the URL of Ken YouTube page in my show notes. The same for you, Amy. I don't know if you have a YouTube page. Otherwise, I'll put also your URL on the show notes. Talking about age, it's sometimes it's hard to deal with all this information. Sometimes it's really information overload, and what I'm doing, this is exactly why I really like those 2 months off. Of course, I worked with computers, but as some of amongst you know, is that I'm a big Ireland fan, and I've read a lot about some history books and other stuff. I'm also, but it's premature. I'm planning my next holiday, so for next year, and it depends on a few factors I don't want to talk about today, but my plan is to go on foot from Belgium to Spain, to Santiago de Compostela. It's going to be 2,200 kilometers. It's 3 months. It's a dream of me to do it. Yeah, it's called the Camino, and I'm really interested to see what it does with the people's mind. And yeah, I hope I can do it. If I want to do it, I want to do it. Try to do it next year, if I'm fit enough. That I've been doing that, and we're working on other big project, social project, but I'm not going to make it too hard today. So maybe I talk about it next week, because it's rather a heavy subject, and maybe I'll talk about it next week, maybe not. But it's all about helping other people. No, Tommy is saying, well, let's for the heck, let's put it online. Tommy really likes beach volley and other everything that's on a beach. Tommy likes. No, Tommy, it's going to be more about churches, but this Camino is, a lot of people are just doing the last 100k from the southern part of France to Spain. And if you're a member of an organization, then you can get stamps everywhere, and with those stamps you can you can sleep at churches or other places, albergues it's called in Spanish, and then you can sleep there for $5. Sometimes if it's a very good one, for $10. It's just a bed sometimes, and you make your own food, but it's all about going on a pilgrimage. As there are other pilgrimages, this is the most famous one, and this is something I like to do. And if I'm doing it, I'm probably not going to take a big camera with me, maybe my iPhone, but what I'm certainly going to do is take kind of an audio recorder with me and do a kind of a live stream, but maybe just an audio live stream every evening, what I've endured during the day. And So if it's going to be 3 months, it's going to be, well, let's say small 100 days. Every day a small piece about what went on. Okay, Tommy is trying to get Rudy to blush on camera. Yeah, it's Marty. No, yeah, I can blush. Martin is saying, crazy Rudy, that's why we have Google Maps. Yeah. Let's see if there are still other comments. Well, we had a very active chat, so that's always nice. It's not always easy to have a look at the chat, because then you're not watching the camera as I'm supposed to do now. So, but I really want to take time to have a look at the chat and have some interaction. So this was it for me today, boys and girls. Thanks again for being on the show. So next week there's again going to be a show, probably again with some small tidbits what I saw in the different forums. If you have any questions, just ask them and I'll try to answer them. Amy has told before, if you like to come on the show, you're more than welcome. And otherwise, I'll see you back next week. So thank you very much and bye-bye. And I really need to work on this again, because I created some shortcuts and I wasn't supposed to come online again. So bye bye.